Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mosa from the Homies Hub. I want to get into this topic, but before we do that, I want to make sure that those of you guys that are watching, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments, let your thoughts be known. And guys, join the community, man. We're building something special here. We're about a year into the Homies Hub, and we are launching our own social media platform. It would be great if I could get some of you guys to join the community, share some of your experiences, and see how this platform can elevate you. It's really going to be tough. Stay tuned. Let's get it. So I know I've been coming with some controversial topics as it pertains to basically dating and finding your wife overseas, right? You guys know I've covered Colombia, and then I've even gone into covering Thailand and the Philippines just a tad. We didn't spend too much time in the Philippines, so I know some of my feedback can be shallow. But I think the thing I want to talk about today is, why are men going overseas to find a wife or find a companion? In fact, a lot of men are not only coming overseas to find a wife or find a companion. A lot of men are actually coming overseas because they're just looking to get a particular level of love, affection, and attention that they're just not getting back home. And now, what is the general problem that we are finding? Well, from what I can see, women's expectations in the US are said to just be a little too high, right? A lot of women want men that are basically unattainable to them, or they want men that maybe she got to embrace or was embraced one time on a one night stand, a short fling. And they believe that every man that they run into from this point on should be this level of man, even if she doesn't qualify. You have the woman that obviously have the height requirements, money requirement, and then, just overall lifestyle and clout requirement. But I think it's pretty interesting because a lot of women in the US, UK, or even Canada don't seem to acknowledge the fact that they are typically dating the best men they can possibly date. I mean, when you leave these first world countries, a lot of men are not able to upkeep lifestyle, physique, and definitely not money. So why is it that women have the best men that they can possibly obtain according to what they truly desire, which is money, status, and power, that they're really turning down their best options? And I think we can probably narrow this down to hypergamy has gone haywire. Now, what do I mean by hypergamy has gone haywire? Hypergamy has gone haywire because social media has opened the floodgates to all of the possibilities of men that women could potentially have, and it makes it feel like it's extremely in reach, even if it's not. And now, a lot of men that usually would have qualified before the age of the internet and social media are now just options. A woman can open her phone and talk to any man on the planet and have access to any man on the planet. The men with the highest statuses are going after, rapid numbers of women to basically increase their access, because a lot of them still believe sheer volume increases their overall value. So you might find that a ball player or a rapper could be in your girl's DMs or in her messages, right? Depending on your age group and depending on the age of your woman. So these women naturally are comparing you constantly to what they're able to see on Instagram. And I just think that that's interesting. So now, because of this, the requirements to try to secure these women are becoming a lot harder. It's becoming a lot more difficult for men. And men that perform reasonably well are just seeing that there's more options for them overseas. And then they come to places like what they call passport bro destinations. They go to Colombia, they go to Thailand, they go to DR, they go to Brazil, and we see that the Philippines is even being opened up to some people as well. I did notice that there are young tourists, young guys in their 20s in the Philippines going after the Filipino girls. And I just think that's interesting. But do you think coming overseas, you have a better love life, or do you just have better dating life, right? You can basically spin plates a little bit more often than you could in the US. Dating is cheaper, and eventually you possibly could find a wife. Now, I think there are trade-offs to everything. and I'll probably do multiple videos on this topic over the course of time, but to basically narrow this down, I think men, if you're coming from a Western country or a country that has a Western mindset, necessarily, it'll be difficult for you to fully marry these women, at least the way that you should. And I've said this in one of my previous videos. When you're coming from a first world country and you enter into these countries, you are the top 1%. You have to act like it. And usually that's something that you need to basically be conditioned into. It's not something that you kind of just wear, right? But you have to act like the top 1%. And unfortunately, a lot of men come to these third world countries, they receive a level of femininity that they've never encountered in their own country, and they immediately start just dispersing their power amongst these women who, if you want to look at a overall just metric, are far beneath you, far beneath you in education, options, and just straight on finances and power. But typically, because these women are more feminine, more sexual, and even more sensual than the women that we're used to dealing with in these first world countries, they typically get the best of you before they even have to earn it. Now, that is also messing up the overall thought dichotomy of these countries, because now these women encounter foreigners, and foreigners are basically used as, something that they can milk for some assets rather than actually save them from their situations. So it's something that's pretty interesting that the men are coming over here to find and deal with the quote unquote better woman, but they're actually getting worse versions of these women. And because they're forfeiting their power so much, they're teaching these women almost to not even respect them. And almost they're enabling the same hypergamy that they're running away from in the US. They're enabling it in the States. Now, here's the thing about coming to some of these countries like the Philippines, Thailand, or even Colombia, right? The thing about going to these countries, even though they're all very different culturally, women are virtually the same everywhere that you go on the planet. The wealth disparity, the wealth disparity is so great. It almost doesn't even matter if one particular city gets flooded with gringos or foreigners or however you call it. When you meet a woman, she has no choice but to fall in line because you are ultimately the breadwinner. And when it comes to, being the guy that is the breadwinner, she's going to have an expectation of you to provide, which means you're going to be paying for this woman. It's going to almost feel like taking care of a child, if we're being honest. And that's the level difference that you have to respect that I think most men are not used to having to respect. We want to feel like we are the man in charge, but until it's actually time to be the man in charge, right? Now it feels different, because when you're the man calling the shots and you have the power and you have the money, you realize how small this woman actually is compared to you. And naturally, what we do as men who want love and want reciprocal love is that we try to elevate a woman that is far beneath us on our same standard. And unfortunately, that doesn't go too well for a lot of men. We see that men do get finessed, do get utilized, do end up giving away a green card to a woman who ultimately was just looking for survival. And I don't think that's the best way to go about things in terms of choosing a woman. I've said it before and I've said it then. If you come to these countries and you are not prepared to marry, have fun. But if you are looking for marriage, the same dichotomy and the dynamics of marriage that you are used to and you have been accustomed to your whole life in the US will not be the same when you come to these countries, because you are an anomaly trying to elevate a woman to the same level you are, or even just a little bit below, when truth be told, you guys are way too far apart. I'm hoping to open some conversation up with this video. Let me know how you guys think. Like, subscribe, drop your comments in the comment section, and be sure to hit the Homies Hub link, man. Join the Discord. We are launching the Homies app. The Homies app will be rolling out 2026. So make sure you guys join the community. Post your pictures, post your videos. Tell us about how your international experience is. It's your boy. Peace.